We should be live, Paul.
Yeah, here we are. Just looking at it here. Okay, well, let's bring up. Yeah.
We should be live. Paul.
Hey, there's AZ already this morning. Morning, AZ. And Lady Liberty. Good morning.
Fly Sky, good morning.
Just watching a thing a few minutes ago. A new underwater drone. Wow. I'm not sure if Curtis has the chasing M2 he had, but they got the new M2S. The new they just announced it just a few hours ago. So
M2S, huh?
M2S, but it's a new underwater drone. And but anyways, I was just sitting there watching the an introduction video to it.
TJ Giggles.
Hey, Mr. Skyfly and TJ.
He's at the gym trying to get buff.
Gotta get buff. Let me know if it works there, TJ.
Lady Liberty, how are you doing?
Measuring.
No, actually, Michigan's the same. We're still Eastern time zone.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on a little bit different time than we are.
Well, he woke up at 6:12 a.m. this morning. I got up at 6. So
Yeah. Oh, I think I was about 7 o'clock, I think, or 7:30 or something like that. Now. Which I didn't get went over to my buddies for coffee last night.
yeah.
I didn't get home here till like 10 o'clock last night.
Oh, wow. Justin was on last night. He finally got his internet.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He was on, had quite a bunch on there, of course, the regulars.
Oh, yeah.
Including Dominic and everybody. Yep.
Hey, good morning, Marie.
Marie, good morning.
All right. Go lay down now. Got plugged my phone in last night. Yeah. Charged it up for a while. So you get any ships last night or anything, Paul? Or?
Yeah, I did 2 night shifts and it didn't turn out so well. I don't know if I had to change the settings. I remember when I started up the Nano, I hit it in auto instead of being set. So it turned out a little darker than I wanted it, but
See the couple of the ships that run up and down there, they're selling them at the end of the season, eh? Those cruise ships?
yeah.
Huh?
Yep.
Okay.
They're getting out of the
Yeah.
that business here.
Well, they probably weren't filling the ships because they're so expensive, right?
Yeah, and they don't have the amenities that the bigger ones have.
Yeah. What was it? The Ocean Navigator and the Ocean Explorer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ocean Explorer and the Ocean Navigator, I think it was.
Yeah, something along that line. But yeah, the two cruise ships getting out of it. But there's still another one or two, another company too that runs up and down there, aren't they?
Oh, Viking, yeah.
But yeah, there's Viking. What are you guys talking about? They're the small cruise ships that go up and down through the Great Lakes. There's 2 of them. They said at the end of the sailing season, they're all done. Like, when it comes to the end of the year, they're gonna sell off the passenger cruise ships because it's not profitable for them. No diving today. Fishing contest at the pier he's gonna go to. Hey, Curtis, did you see the new ROV chasing M2S? I just watched it here a few minutes ago, and a video, and it's supposed to be the newest ROV out, the M2S. Yeah, that's the cruise ships, eh? There's two of them. Yeah, the Ocean Navigator and the Ocean Voyager. That will cease all operations in Great Lakes at the end of the cruising season. Yeah. Speaking of cruise ship, they only have a cruise ship to fit under the bridge. Huh? I don't know. But they, what they say, they hold about 400 passengers compared to a, ocean going one is 4,000 passengers. And, they have to charge so much more. The cheapest cruise is like $5,000 or $6,000, right? Yeah, but the bigger cruise ships can't make it down through the canals and everything down through here, like the Welland Canal and the locks and all that shit. So.
Let's see, make co-host, yes. And rename.
Gonna say it's not new. It's an old design. Open frame gets caught in stuff all the time. Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay.
Hey, come on, Russell.
Then I gotta let me out. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead.
Yeah, there was a new video I was watching there, Curtis. This morning. It said it just came out a few hours ago or something. But yeah, the chasing M2S. That was it. Yeah. I didn't know if you had one of them or not. I know you go with the fishy ones or whatever it is. Or fish fly or whatever. Yeah. Here. Okay. Okay. I can because I bookmarked it. So I could, in case you came on, I wanted to. Okay. Share screen, optimize for video clips. Curtis wants me to share this, Paul. So,
Okay.
anyways, here we go.
Chasing Innovation is proud to announce the highly anticipated launch of the most revolutionary industrial underwater robot. It packs a bunch of new technology, including C-Sense control system, all scenario operation system, and HD image transmission system
Looks like a
in order to
deep
deliver
dive
an
program.
unparalleled experience
I was
for
looking at watching
professionals
the video
and
there.
enthusiasts alike. This drone can be used for underwater photography, hull and dock inspection, fishery and aquaculture
Let's get
monitoring,
past this.
underwater emergency rescue. Hello guys, this is Rick, and
Right here.
today at Chasing Innovation we are very excited to launch our brand new product, which is Chasing M2S. This is our state-of-the-art and brand new underwater drone which is packing a lot of new tech, and we are very excited about it because it's not been done before in the industry. Chasing M2S weighs less than 5 kg, that is portable and compact. Single person can easily operate.
Good morning, Joe.
By this drone, even though the body is comparatively small, but this underwater
Hey, Joe.
robot contains
Good morning, Marie.
M2S has 97.68 watt-hour battery that can power up to 4 hours of continuous operation. 200 watt-hour backup
There are
battery
two different batteries for this thing, eh?
to provide longer duration of operation as well. The battery compartments adopts is open design and is ready to use. With few steps, you can replace the battery and meet the needs of a long time operation. Robust power supply system enables M2S a wide range of operating space with a maximum depth of 100 meters and an operating radius of 400 meters. Operations underwater are always carried out.
But they
in
say
enormous
400
water.
meters. That's
That
quite a
is
bit.
why M2 has
Yep.
upgraded main cabins and lighting sections.
That's 1,200
which
feet or
come with
whatever, right?
flagship class airtight waterproof structure. This further enhances the robot's operations no matter how much the depth is. Chasing M2S can be mounted with Chasing own accessories and also third-party accessories such as GoPro and DIY fishing net to accomplish water operations in a smooth way. We have also upgraded this
I wonder what's the depth on a GoPro?
system.
I don't know what the
provides a
depth
more
is on a
clear
GoPro
and
is.
direct view of underwater observation. Chasing M2S is capable of taking 4K video and 12 megapixel photos as well. With its
Still better than our
120
drones.
CMOS lens, it is also equipped with EIS video anti-shake function, which can clearly capture
anti-shake
any
on it?
in underwater operation.
Yeah.
This color is
Stabilized vision, yeah.
Yeah.
to enhance underwater light, physical light routes, and also aids visual identification and traffic system in different environments. This gives the M2S an upgraded image transparency and clarity, which effectively reduces color layering and noise in the image. At 100 meters depth, the sea is incredibly dark. So to counter that, Chasing M2S is equipped with two 2000 lumen LED lights that illuminate your direction of exploration in the depth.
It's funny, they show it in a pool,
Chasing
but not on
M2S
an
comes
actual.
with a simple and
lights,
easy to use
yeah.
app to enhance your user experience. On the app, there are
But
multiple
anyway, so
options
that's,
which are designed.
But there's a thing here. What I'll do is I'll put the link for that into the chat.
What kind? It didn't say what kind of money it was either.
No, it doesn't say. Yeah, how did they get 400 meters with a 100-meter tether? But
I
there's
don't know.
in it if anybody wants to look at it.
Does that mean that they could put 4 tethers in a
Well,
line?
you probably could connect them, but you'd have to have one awful big reel. You can have 400 meters. You figure that one is 100 meters, like 400 be, you know.
Well, and Curtis also indicated that the longer the tethers, the less signal is carried through the tether. It just degrades.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They said what the smaller battery you get 4 hours. With the bigger battery, I don't know. Didn't say, I don't think, but
Probably 6 or 8 because it looked like about twice the size, didn't it?
that was twice the size on the numbers, right? So yeah. Hey, can you hear that? Huh?
What? No.
Curtis is getting his wallet out and his credit card.
I don't know. I think Curtis is probably passed on that.
Lights are 2K luminous. The new Evo has 2500 luminous. So to be 2.5, yeah. See, what the thing is that Curtis is to what ROVs are is what AZ is to drones. You know, they got to collect a million of them, right? Yeah. Yeah, they don't mention the price, but I wonder if you go find the price. Chasing, what was it? Chasing M2S. There you go, Paul. It's actually not bad, really. $2,800. Chasing M2S underwater drone, new. $2,800. So yeah.
What length tether does it have?
Imagine it only comes at 300 meters, I imagine.
Well, is that the
Inside 100 meters. So let's go to 200 meters. Let's say it can go to 400 or 300. Okay, so it's another, so it's $3,000, about another $150 or something for a longer tether. But yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Apex anti-stuck sea motor, whatever that means. Flagship airtight structure, butterfly wing outlet, 8 thrusters on it. But anyway, so it's only $3,000. Shit, big deal there, huh? He says I'm leery of the battery that gets disconnected. Another point where water can get in. I do like that the lights fold out there further, so it lights up less of the particulate. Oh. Anyways,
interesting?
so $3,000 American. That's that's what, only about 10,000 Canadian. Yeah. That thing would be $5,000 here in Canada.
What did he say? The lights fold out?
I don't know. I thought they were mounted solid in there with the luminous.
Unless maybe they're adjustable.
But maybe, oh, here comes Curtis.
Hey, Curtis.
Hey, morning, guys.
Hey,
619 here.
it's 19.
6.
In the
Oh,
US?
Yeah, no. It's 6:19 a.m.
Oh, 6:19 a.m. Okay.
Oh, here comes Mr. First.
Here's my new little addition.
A mount for a GoPro or whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna put a GoPro on there.
Yeah.
And we got the paddles on it instead of just the claw.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
That's,
you squeeze it together, right?
Yeah, we've in picking up stuff like flat items like a phone.
yeah, that
The
keeps
claw would pinch it and it would kind of bend it sideways, and you'd have it kind of
Squirt out. Yep.
yeah. So this will make it more of a flat surface to grab.
And they got rubber on the inside of them?
Yeah, it's not it's Kevlar actually.
Oh.
But yeah,
I
it's
was
a rough.
I was just wondering, rubber would probably help hold it.
The Kevlar feels like rubber. It's the same thing, but it's a more durable surface.
Okay.
It'll last longer. Rubber would eventually break down underwater.
You probably have to replace it.
Yeah. So it'll last a lot longer in salt water. And it's fused with the aluminum too. It's an aluminum claw.
Now, have you used your new toy lately, or?
Yes, we took it's in the last video I did.
Okay.
Yeah, it works fine. 4K at 60 frames a second. So we can slow it down to 30 frames per second, and and when we're editing it, so you get nice slow motion.
Yeah. And
it's got the stabilization. It has more powerful lights than the M2 that you were talking about.
Yeah.
So I've had issues. I have chasing products, and I've had issues with their firmware. and their operating system. You know, Dan has talked about the same issues he's had with them in the past. I'm not knocking their product, but the design itself, I do like that the lights fold out so they're further away from the camera. So they tend to light up less of the particulate that's right in front of you. You get less of that, you know, driving into snow effect.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But that open design like that, if there's something beside you, like a branch or something, it can get hooked in there.
Yeah. It looks like it.
Yeah. I'm on the chasing Facebook groups and I hear guys talking about that all the time. And Chasing's response is, well, you should rotate and see where you are first, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people have you know, you're used to flying drones and you look up and you go, oh, I'm around a tower or something, you know, don't pan left or don't pan right. You can't really do that underwater. It's really, really tunnel vision.
Hey, Jack, Sparky Fawn, good morning.
Hey, Jack, good morning, good morning. The
Laura says it's pretty hot where she is.
the only question I had, Curtis, was that that other company, they were talking about going 300 meters. Now, how long is the tether?
So if you go back and you look at that advertisement that Paul pulled up,
Yeah.
that tether is tied into that that spool. So one end is wrapped around the spool, and then there's a little hub where it makes the connection, and there's another line that comes off that goes to your remote. So there's really not a way to add tether to that particular system unless they come out with just a line.
Okay.
Well, they said go to 300 meters, but you can buy it with a 200-meter cable.
Oh, you can't? Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was a 100-meter cable.
200-meter cable, it says.
Okay. Well,
added about 150 or 200.
$150 more than the standard.
that gets into, you know, I've had these out. I don't want to knock a product because I don't have it.
Yeah.
But I still run into my experiences. The further out you are, the more it acts like an anchor in the water, you know, a sail anchor.
Yeah.
In the old days, they used to drop a cloth in the water and that would help them slow them down or whatever, you know, with a sailing ship. It's the same thing. It's adding more pull that you have to work against, which uses more of the motors, more of the battery.
Yep.
I mean, you can do it, but it's not.
You're fighting the currents, right?
You're fighting it the whole time, and it's. If I don't pull up, so for instance, it's a spool, and you can leave the line on the spool, and you can go forward, and it has enough power to pull the line off the spool, but your video, you get this in your video.
Okay.
Where it's kind of looking like it's jerking or something. At first, I thought there was something with the firmware the first time I did it, but then I realized what I did.
You said something about that one.
So I always pull off
video
line.
setting. Was it coming out to an update in August or something?
Say that one more time, Paul. I'm sorry. I didn't understand what you're saying.
The video quality on the bottom or something you can change, but you said that comes with the update in August. It was in the video. It was saying because
on the chasing one
on the bottom, that a different color change or something.
Oh yeah, that the Five Fish already has that. It's an AI thing where it samples before you take off and start filming and stuff. You do this sample of the water, of the colors of the water, and it will give you suggestions as to where to set your camera.
Oh,
it's like an auto feature. I mean, it's not bad. It's not good. It's not.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want to do.
Yep.
Charge. Watch 8 Ultra.
But yeah, my big leeriness would be the firmware that's in there.
Yeah.
I've had all kinds of problems with her. I have two of their products, and me. I'm not saying they haven't improved their older products, but there's the big tease.
Hey, Ron, good morning.
Oh, I'm here, Curtis. Oh, wait, I'm leaving. Oh, I'm here, Curtis, but I know you're at work.
Sorry, bud.
Just one big tease.
Oh, shoot.
One of the guys I'd love to meet up with, and he, oh, I'm here, but
That's twice now.
2 times.
Yeah, we got into Seattle at 6:30 a.m. and my flight out was not till 7:30. I'm like, oh dear God, I don't want to sit here for 13 hours. So I went up and worked my charm with one of the girls at the ticket agent. Didn't get me real far, but it got me an earlier flight. So,
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad you didn't have to sit there and wait.
I figured you were probably working. I'm like, I don't know
Yeah.
how far Curtis is from the airport, or
If I'd have just drove up there, it would have been, well, during the week, it's the traffic is the issue. I'm 30 minutes away, but it can be 2 hours.
oh shit.
Yeah, it just depends on traffic. I mean, if you were to actually look at a map, the whole Seattle area is like one big hourglass. It feeds out all the way down to Portland. Portland gets wide, and as you come up towards Tacoma and Seattle, it gets narrow, and everything just goes down to I-5. I mean,
Yep.
you can go over to 405 now, but then you're adding time to your commute or wherever it is you're going, and even that bogs up. So yeah, all it takes is 1 or 2 accidents, and
Curtis, JD in the chat wanted to know what body of water actually is that?
that's called the Puget Sound.
Yeah.
And it
'cause
is everywhere here.
Yeah, we jet skied in Blackstone Bay, which is part of Puget Sound.
Yep.
In Alaska. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But I'm coming back next August.
Next or
And,
this August?
next, a year from now.
Oh, I'll probably be dead by then.
Trying to
Get
sound
in
like
line,
Paul Murray.
Curtis, get in line.
Yeah, I got to get you up here so you can try out these underwater drones and stuff and add them
Yeah.
to your repertoire.
You know what I ought to try and do? Shit. Because usually the guys I think everybody's coming from Pennsylvania next trip. And in the past, I have gone up like a day or 2 ahead of everyone else because I like to go out and explore and look for bears.
Right.
I think
We got a few here.
my bear exploring has been fulfilled recently. So
7Cs, thanks for being here.
so maybe I could come up with like a day or 2 and just stay in Seattle, hook up with you. Yeah, I'd love to go out and play with them. That'd be cool as shit.
I got 5 of them, so we can go out and play for a few hours.
Oh yeah.
And even then, depending on what day we go, we can recharge too. And that's usually what me and my guys do. I've got a couple of guys from work that go out with me, so I got a little team that goes out, and we'll go out and dive for an hour. The water is, we have what we call green water, which is full of algae. It's not crystal blue like the Mediterranean or the Caribbean or something like that.
Right.
But we use the lights a lot, so and those lights are what burns up the battery.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it was clear water, I could do 4 hours underwater easy. But we get about an hour, hour 15, hour 30 minutes. Depends on how much the motor we're using, but I mean, pretty much the lights are on all the time. We can film without the lights, but when I come back and start editing, I'm like, Okay, it's all right. And then you turn the lights on. It's like, oh, that looks good.
Yep. Oh,
Hey, Seven Seas and Dustin, good morning.
Good morning, people.
Yeah, JD,
Morning.
the
Hey,
water
Dave.
is all around us. I mean, you can't get away from it. I mean, it's you got Lake Washington, which is huge on one side, and the Puget Sound, which is on the other, and there's water all around here. People that are used to the Midwest, where you drive and you miss your turn, you go to the next block and you make your turn and go back to where you were supposed to go. You don't do that here. You run into water or you run into a mountain, one of the two. There's very little grid houses laid out. There's very little of that classic American grid thing. A lot of houses built on the side of hills and a lot of water houses.
mm.
So
They have
Ron,
that-
you're at work, right? Now you're there for a week?
Till Wednesday morning.
And then you're off for a few days or?
Yeah, you know what? I kind of made a promise to somebody, so I got an old rancher that lives 3 or 4 miles from me. He was out looking for some help. He's got some issues, some surgeries that he's recently had, and he has a whole bunch of work around his ranch he needs done. And it's damn near it is the pay almost, except for like $1, I think, that I'm making. See, on my week off, my 9 days off, I go to Hot Springs. That's the part-time ambulance job. And I go there and I usually put in 30 to 40 hours. And you know what? I'd rather just stay home. If that guy says, hey, Ron, I got several hours worth of work, I can go up and do the work for him, turn around and come home 10 minutes later.
Yeah,
I tell you the drive anymore, just coming up here the other morning, the drive is just, I got to be careful about the current situation. I don't
right.
speak of that right now, but
Well, it's got to get old.
it is.
Because how maybe everybody doesn't realize how far is it a drive for you to go there?
4.5 hours.
4.5 hours each way.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's getting old.
That's like being an over the road truck driver.
I always find somebody on Messenger and it's usually either Matt or Tommaso Sullivan. And had Tomas on. Oh my God, we talked for 2 hours the other morning. But about every half hour, 45 minutes, like, Tomas, I got to stop and pull over and get out and stretch. So,
You don't kick the tires.
yeah, kick the tires and get coffee. But yeah, we had a nice chat the other morning.
You're not 25 years old anymore.
No, and I tell you, sitting in that,
I was only 26.
yeah, that one position for hours, it gets hard on your hips. I don't care if you're young or old, just sitting in that same position for time and time and
Yes,
time.
yes, 7Cs. It's 4.5 hours each way to go to work for him.
Yeah,
But he only goes
twice a month.
twice a month. Yeah. Something like that.
I've had 3-hour commutes going home on a Friday sometimes.
Yeah, but you don't. Yeah, but what's your mileage? What?
22 miles.
Holy shit! Are you serious? Is it that bad?
I am not kidding you, Ron. I'm not making this up.
Wow.
It gets bad sometimes.
This was probably 10 years ago, but the worst I experienced, I was down in LA in training and trying to get back up north, up towards Sacramento. And oh my God, the traffic down near LA on the 5, I think it's the 5, yeah, that goes north to south. But yeah, it just,
Was that? I think I was watching an article this morning there. I think Oregon, for 3 states, Oregon, Utah, and something else. They're experimenting right now, but there's a module you got to plug into your vehicle. Instead of charging you
Start charging miles.
Per mile, yeah.
mileage now, your tax instead of on the gas.
Yep.
What?
Yeah,
Yep,
the
we're
reason
gonna-
they're doing that is because of all the electric vehicles. They don't have a way of collecting a gas on
Yep,
electric
so they're
vehicles.
gonna collect it by the mile instead of on the gallon, tax on the gallon.
We want everybody to go green. Oh, wait, we can't get any money out of that. Hold on, stop. We got to change the laws.
What the?
Well, I knew that was going to happen because when they first come out with electric cars, nope, they're not paying road tax or nothing else. Get everybody converted, then all of a sudden, oh yeah, we're going to start charging you now by the mile.
Yeah.
So when you go to renew your license, oh, you owe us $5,000 because you put on this many miles this year.
Yep,
The sad part of it is it's also GPS enabled. So that means they'll be able to track how fast you're going, where you're going. They'll be able to know where you're at. It's not being won over here in Washington State, but they're proposing it.
No, because you know what'll happen, don't you? You'll pull up in a car park and the rival supermarket will go, "Hey, we got this deal for you."
Yeah.
It'll all be down to advertising.
Oh, dear God. People are going to say, screw electric cars. We're going to walk or ride bicycles. Then they'll put those GPS trackers in your sneakers or in the pedals of the bike.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, that's the other thing that kind of gets my goat is, and it's mainly in the city of Seattle. They've put all these bike lanes in, and they've literally, they'll cut down 4 lanes and make it down to 2 because all these bicycle lanes. They want everybody to go to bicycle. Well, those people that have bicycles aren't paying anything for those roads. We are.
Yeah.
So why are we spending all that time? I mean, I get it. Less traffic, less congestion. If you live in the city and you move around on a bicycle, yeah, that's a great idea. But you need to help pay for this.
More cyclists, more idiots on the road.
yep.
Well, yeah, because more people go bicycles, less money they're going to get from gas tax or mileage tax or whatever, right?
Well, guys, you're all used to the spectacular, aren't you? Your views and stuff. I'm sure some of you have seen the Northern Lights.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me introduce you to the Welsh Lights. And this is not bullying Welsh Rob. This is true.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
that's actually a live animal. I forget what it's called, but it's a photoplasm. Yeah, that emits light.
Yeah.
Is that same thing like they get in California? Steve Carpenter has that. There's a certain time of year that takes place. Yeah, look at that. That's beautiful. Wow.
Was that like a plankton or something? That's
Yeah, I
Yes,
forget
exactly what it
what it is. And it has to do with El Nino.
Yeah, there you go. It's a whatever that says, plankton.
yeah, plankton, bioluminescent plankton. Yeah,
It's the northern lights of the ocean. Huh. That's kind of cool.
And you can see it off the coast of Wales at the moment.
yeah.
So what are you, Curtis? You a Monday through Friday kind of guy?
Oh yeah, they wish I would work Saturday, but I tell them
No, negative. Ghost Rider.
that ain't happening.
No.
Yeah, I put in generally about 10 hours a day. I can't complain. The paycheck's good.
Paycheck's good, the hours are crap.
Well, the flip side of it is if I get, it's a frustrating job, and if I get frustrated, I just pack it up and go home, and nobody ever says anything.
I'd be home
I
every
have
day with that at that rate.
I
Now
don't.
you're delivering mostly what kind of gas?
Well, it's not just delivery; it's also safety. I'm also a safety officer at the port.
Okay.
So yes, I do deliver welding gases, as well as hydrogen, helium, propane, stuff like that. But it's also when something goes down, I'm the guy they call when something goes bad.
Does that happen very often?
Not a newsworthy event. I haven't had that happen. We don't deal with oil spills or things like that. Strictly gases, but and there's several of us in the company, but it hasn't happened. You know, like I said, a newsworthy, like we had the one up in Seattle where the truck caught on fire. That was a pretty big deal. But
I think I was there for that like 2 years ago.
No, that was last year.
Yeah, about a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and I blame the fire department for that one. But to answer your question, Paul, usually the calls that I get are, what gas is this? It's an unmarked cylinder.
Yeah.
Labeling is rubbed off, or it's been in the water. It got lost in the water, and they recovered a boat, and they're like, well, what gas is this? And whose cylinder is it? And that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, hey guys,
Or-
almost shift change. I better boogie.
Okay, Ron. Hey, thanks for
Later on.
popping in.
Yeah.
Catch you later, mate.
All right. Yeah, we'll talk, Curtis. So try and coordinate something.
We'll do something.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Everybody have a great day.
Yep. See you later, Ron. Yep.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's a boring job.
Yeah.
But I don't really have a time to report to work, and I don't really have a time to take off. I mean, I could work 24 hours a day if I wanted to. And this is the slow time of year, mainly because everybody takes vacation. So
Yeah.
everything slows down at the port.
So is that where you go most of the time, is to the port?
Oh, I'm exclusively at the port, yeah, or the ports, I should say. We
Yeah.
have 4 of them down there. It's all in one location, but it's Port of Tacoma, Matson Terminal, Horizon Terminal, Tote Terminal, Washington United Terminal. So, yeah, and those are connected too. So I don't know why they have different companies for them. If 2 boats come in and one terminal can't take it, the other one takes it for them.
Huh. Is there all gases are dangerous, but is there any gas that's more dangerous than others?
Acetylene.
Acetylene, yeah.
If it was invented today, the government wouldn't let us have it.
Oh,
It's so volatile that they have to use acetone when they fill it, because it overheats the cylinder. They use acetone to kind of nullify it to a certain extent. In fact, I can tell you about this. Pasco is where we get our cylinders filled, which is in Washington. We had 2 trailers. So this is where everybody goes to. We go there, Airgas, Praxair, Lind, all of them get their acetylene filled there. They had a fire there that at the plant, and it caught everybody's trailers on fire. So they pull the whole trailer in. It's like a 54-foot trailer. They pull into the plant itself, and they start hooking up cylinders and filling them. 2 of our trailers were outside with 600 cylinders on them, and they still caught fire. That's how hot it was.
oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
the
they
one-
cylinders go, they don't half go.
The one that we were talking about earlier, where the truck caught fire in Seattle, I could pull up some footage and show you, but they had a runaway diesel motor. So the motor caught on fire, and the fire went underneath the chassis and caught the rear tires on fire when the driver realized it, and the tires blew. So he pulled over to the side. He was on I-5, right? And he was a mile away from the tunnel in Seattle. So he almost was in the tunnel, and that would have been a major problem. But I blame the fire department for that one, because when they pulled up, they kept saying, well, there's liquid oxygen on there. Well, the helicopter that was circling and showing the live feed on the news, I could look at it and go, there's no liquid oxygen on that thing. There were 2 propane cylinders that were venting. And by venting, I mean the overflow valve had opened up and there were flames coming out, but the overflow valve is pointed upwards. So the flames were going up. They could have put that out, and they were like, well, propane in the air. And I'm like, no, the parts per million would have been negligible. It wouldn't have mattered if they put it out and propane got released, but they let it keep burning. And then the next 2, and that was at the back of the truck. The next rack was oxygen and then argon. they use argon to put out fire. And the only thing that happens when they heat up is it's just steam that comes out. It looks like steam. It's just,
Yeah.
it doesn't catch on fire. The oxygen, there was fire coming out of that overflow vent, but they let it burn until it got to the front of the truck where there were 2 racks of acetylene, and there's 20 acetylene in each rack. There were 40 acetylene there. The irony part was we only usually carry on a truck 1 rack of acetylene.
Yeah.
The driver was doing another driver a favor by grabbing an extra rack and hauling it back to the plant. So just out of the blue, he just happened to have 2 racks on there. He was doing a good thing. He didn't necessarily have to haul that extra rack. He wasn't obligated to do that. He was just helping out another driver. And but that was 40 cylinders that, and when those go up, they're like missiles. They're like, it shoots them and it shoots them out. It's like a rocket.
Yeah.
And you don't really, I mean, the fire department's, and I agree with this, the fire department's philosophy on acetylene is to contain the burn and let it burn off. Because the parts per million that get into the air, it can reignite.
Good morning, Jody.
Hey, Jody. Welcome.
Yeah, not a good situation, that's for sure.
Didn't I show you guys the footage of that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you did.
Yeah, okay. Then I won't torture you and play it again.
What was that one they had just in Pennsylvania where it took down that bridge, or was that any kind of gases on that?
I didn't hear about that one.
Well, they shut down what, I-95 or something? They're trying right now, trying to rebuild it or something, fill it in. There was a guy, like, it was an underpass, but it went underpass quite a few roads out on top, but something happened and had an explosion, and the truck and everything else. I'm pretty sure that was some kind of gases too.
You can find it, post it here so we can see it.
Okay, let me see what I can do here.
If they've got footage from it, I can talk you through it. Yeah, we're allowed to go underneath bridges, but we're not supposed to stop. And we're not supposed to go in tunnels, but there's a couple places at the port where you have to go through a tunnel to get in there.
I would imagine don't stop in a tunnel even if you have to be in one, right?
Right. Yeah. When you go, you don't stop. You make sure it's clear and you go all the way through. So yeah, well, there's 2 spots with tunnels at the port where you pull into the port itself. It goes underneath and it's an enclosed tunnel. So we pull up to it, make sure there's no traffic in it, and then shoot through that thing.
Okay, 7Cs, take care. Thanks for popping by.
Later, 7Cs.
Oh, it was a tanker truck. Okay, no, it was a tanker.
What was he carrying?
Gasoline.
Oh, okay. Yeah, gasoline's a whole other issue.
Hey, Rod.
Morning.
What's up?
Yeah, the trucker wrecked underneath the bridge, and I don't remember what fuel was on board. I don't know what it was. Probably diesel fuel or.
It said the commercial tanker truck was carrying a petroleum-based product.
Well, diesel's not as bad as diesel is bad for the environment. So is gasoline, but gasoline's a lot more volatile.
It must have been gas because it burned hot enough that it melted the bridge supports above it.
Structure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like gas.
Yeah, but he wrecked. He also didn't survive.
Yeah, but see, this is the bridge where it collapsed, from the fire. Yeah, but they,
That's why they don't like us going underneath the bridges.
where's this one here?
Their solution was rather interesting. They yanked all that out and essentially cut the road off underneath and just filled it in
Yeah,
to build a temporary road. So the temporary road right now is kind of in the middle of this.
Yeah.
And they're going to rebuild the bridge on the outside and then reverse that process.
look at this is drains, or the stuff went down into the drains and everything, right? It blew the lids off of stuff. And
Yeah, it was probably gas.
Gasoline.
to burn that hot.
Yeah. In my business, you have to be specific. Is it gas or is it gasoline?
Yeah. Got you. Yeah. But
Somebody calls me up and says gas fire. I'm like, well, what? What gas? I deal with all
Anyways.
different kinds of gas.
he had an accident underneath the bridge.
The one that cracks me up is we carry liquid nitrogen, liquid argon, liquid oxygen, and if you guys are familiar with it, with the cryo cylinders as we call them, they build pressure, and if you don't release that pressure, it will explode. So we have this pressure release valve on there when it gets, and we set it, and most of them are set for 350 cubic feet. Some are 235. But we're driving down the road and we may get a spurt of gas coming out. It's like, psst,
Sure. Just from
Until it
shaking
get-
around,
until it
pressure
gets back,
building, shaking around.
right, until it gets back down to that pressure level. Well, I'm sitting at a red light and mine goes off, and this lady pulls up and the guy's driving. She's in the passenger seat and she's got her window down. It's people like you that are ruining our environment. And I'm like, it's argon. Do you know that you're breathing argon? And she's like, oh, whatever. And he drives off, and you can see he's like, he's doing this, the driver. He's going,
Nothing beats the motorist Karen.
yeah,
Most gases are already in the atmosphere.
right. You're sucking that down when you're talking, lady. So
It's just concentrated.
lady,
That's the only
breathe.
difference.
yeah. Ironically, argon can kill you if you're in an enclosed area where it builds up, because it's not life in air.
Replaces the oxygen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've changed. Computer rooms used to have argon fire systems, and they've changed that to I don't know what they're using now, but it's not argon anymore.
Well, we service Microsoft and they still use argon in their server rooms.
I'm not surprised. That's where I work, by the way.
Oh.
Just not there. Work from home.
I got the mothership up here.
Yeah. They're rebuilding all the offices up there.
I don't know what. So I used to work for a motor oil company for Castrol, and they used to get motor oil up there. I'm like, what are you using? They'd get barrels of it. I never did figure out what they were using it for. They wouldn't let us come in. We'd go to a dock and offload, and that was it.
Where's that at?
Microsoft up in Bellevue.
Yeah, might have been for the cooling systems. Back in the day, you used to use lots of oil on.
I have no idea. That was a dirty job, hauling oils.
Yeah, I don't know that your underwater drones would be all that great here in Daytona. We tend to have lots of sand floating in the water. So I don't know what the hell you would see.
Sand?
Hey, sand.
How does sand float?
Particulate. And you can see it. I can see it with the drones. You can see the water's all brown from the sand, and then you get out far enough where it's sort of dropping out of the water, and then it's clear.
So I have people say that a lot, and then we actually get them in ROV, and we get it in the water. Yeah, you're not going to see 100 yards, but with the lights that are on there, you can actually light it up pretty good.
Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen them before. The other part of it is I don't know what you would look at here, because apparently there's nothing on the bottom. That's why there's like no scuba dive or no snorkeling that goes on anywhere near this place. They go, yeah, nothing we're seeing, just sand on the bottom. That's it.
Yeah, I've got a few people that are like, hey, let's go out to the lake. And I'm like, well, what are we going to look at? Well, what is there something sunk there that we need to? Although, did I tell you guys I got another call for another recovery project for a guy that was a car that went off a ferry boat?
But he's down 300 meters or something?
Yeah, he's down 300 feet or 100. He's down 100 meters, 300 feet.
I was going to say to go and pick up a sub that imploded.
Nah, that's a little bit beyond my ability.
You know, Curtis, that's actually an interesting question. Do you know about a YouTube channel called Adventures with Purpose? Where they use sonar to go find cars and then go down and dive on them to find people and stuff?
I'm not familiar with it, but I'm working with divers up here all the time. We've already recovered one suicide victim, and
Yeah, those guys, I've often wondered, the one thing they don't use is ROVs.
so in talking with the working out a plan to efficiently use these things, with the suicide victim, it was just before Christmas, and it was like a time thing. We wanted to get this done before Christmas and get so the family would have closure before
Sure.
Christmas. So we laid out a grid, and the divers were in the water. We were in the water. We had I didn't know this, but cadaver dogs can smell the gases that are released from the body above the water. So we had dogs that were on boats, and we were all covering a different grids. But yeah, in working with these divers in trying to figure out the most efficient way of doing things, we went to Gig Harbor and did a practice run with them. And the scenario is, there's something down there, for instance, a car, and we don't know where the car is specifically, and we don't know where the people are in the car. We're assuming the driver got out in this scenario that they laid out for us. So there's not going to be somebody in the driver's seat. But we don't know how many people they are. We don't know where they are. We don't know if the car is on its side or anything. So what they had done is they had an old Volkswagen Bug that they had removed everything out of it. It was just the body, and they put it in the harbor in Gig Harbor, and this is where they train their guys at. So I went down with the ROV, and the idea is that past 100 feet, the diver has to have a nitrogen mixture with his diving gear to go down below that. And it's 30 minutes generally for him to get down, 10 minutes on the scene, and 30 minutes to come back up. But if you go down with an ROV and you map everything out, hey, there's a passenger on the back seat of the passenger side, but the door is collapsed. You're going to have to go through the driver's side passenger door to get to them. Then that means they have less time they have to spend down there assessing the situation. So in that particular scenario, it's actually better. If it's somebody in 60 feet of water, you just put a diver in the water. The ROV is no advantage to them.
There, I put their in the Zoom chat. I put their channel in there. You should try to get a hold of those guys. They're actually up in your area.
My area of Seattle?
Seattle, Oregon, up in there. They're definitely from the Northwest. There's another guy that's in Seattle. He's more of a cleanup guy. He used to be with Adventures with Purpose, but Sam, the adventure guy. He's actually in Seattle.
I know Sam. Sam worked with us. Yeah, Sam worked with us. He did the sonar stuff on the teen suicide we were at.
So
he mapped out as much as
if you talk to Sam, he can put you in contact with, I'm sure, with the Adventures with Purpose guys. Although
I know these guys. I know some of these guys, I should say.
But what surprises me about them is that they don't use ROVs. They're using sonar, right? Side scan, down scan, all that kind of stuff to spot the targets. And that's the part that they seem to be really fucking good at, is reading the sonar to find the targets in the first place. And then they put divers down on it. But I've always wondered why the hell they didn't just throw an ROV in to take a quick look before they sent the diver down.
It's not so there's kind of a misconception about the idea of searching with an ROV. An ROV is really kind of slow. I mean, you can set out a grid pattern and you can do a waypoint thing. And it gives you one or two small advantages, but you're limited. I mean, you got a 100-foot tether. You're limited in your grid space you can do, whereas a diver can adjust to, there's a whole bunch of stuff over here. That body's not going to be in this area, or, something like that. So I still think, above 100 feet and above, I think a diver is a better option. And I would do the same thing. I would put a sonar on a boat and
Yeah,
go
which is
around
what
the
these
area.
guys do. They're
Yeah.
they're scanning with the sonar and then they send the diver down. But I've often wondered why they haven't used an ROV because they're normally not in 100 feet water. They're normally 30 feet or less, actually.
Right. Yeah. No, the
For
better
most of their
option
crap.
is, yeah, the better option is the diver. I don't have a, when drones came out, everybody's like, well, helicopter pilots are going to get, they lose their jobs. No, I think in that particular case, having worked with the divers, and I've worked with Sam, the Adventure Man, and he's played with ROVs and stuff. The thing for them is it's really kind of cost prohibitive. It's not a cheap thing to do to have a diving suit and maintain it and air and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you want to start playing with an ROV, and an ROV is unlike an aerial drone where you just pull it out. If your batteries are charged, you pull it out and you go fly. There's a lot of pre-dive stuff you want to do. There's post-dive stuff, clean up. You don't want to just, pull it out of the water and store it away. You want to pull it out of the water, make sure that it's clean and all that stuff. So there's a lot more
Sure.
maintenance stuff involved with an ROV as opposed to an aerial drone. I don't see any sort of advantage for a dive team that is doing anything that is 100 feet or above. I think the better option is the diver, unless you get into a situation where it's time critical. And I don't see any scenario where it's time critical. At that point, somebody's dead. I mean, the last one I did with a family was they wanted to recover the body before Christmas, which we did. And then it was like all hands on deck. Everybody.
Yeah, there's been a few where, it's like, okay, it's the same shape, but they went down and it was a different manufacturing of the vehicle. So I don't know whether you could I don't know whether it would be time cost efficient to send a small ROV down to take a quick peek before you send a diver in, kind of thing.
A diver would be in the water. Well, I don't know. We get in the water about the same. In my experience, we're in the water about the same amount of time. I'm set up and ready to go.
As far as to get into the water.
Right. As far as, not talking about suiting up. I'm assuming they're on a boat already, and I would be in the same situation. They found something with sonar, so I'm on the boat. I'm in the water probably maybe a minute faster than they are.
Yeah, they don't. They
But
actually don't have the diver on the boat. They go out and scan around, and then they send the diver out later.
Well, in that particular case, yeah, that might be an advantage to have the ROV on the boat.
Yeah, that's what I keep thinking. It's like, okay, you found a target, you could at least send the ROV down. You wouldn't obviously try to sneak up on it close, water currents and everything else, but you potentially could send it down and kind of go, oh yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for, or at least close enough to what we're looking for. Or you go, oh, you happen to see enough color and go, no, that's the wrong color vehicle, whatever, whatever it may be, you could at least get a quick eyeball on it to figure out whether you really do want to suit up and go dive on it.
Yeah, in that particular scenario, I guess I could see that. That might make sense. You're there on the spot and you get a good hit.
Yeah, they put magnets on. They put magnets and buoys. That's how they go. That's how they come back to the spot to send the diver down. But I've often wondered, they're using the sonar, but I've often wondered why they haven't put a small ROV on their boat to take a quick look before they decide whether they're going to send the diver on the target or not.
Well, the ROVs are getting cheaper, I can tell you that. So
take a look at one or two of their videos and you can see what they do. And I think it would be interesting for them to incorporate an ROV into what they do. They actually use drones too. So some of the times when they're looking at if they're looking at a small lake or pond or something like that, they'll throw a drone up and try to look down to kind of see how deep it is or whether they can see shadows in the water, things like that too. So they use aerial drones. I've just wondered why they haven't used underwater drones for what they do. Just interesting thought.
Well, I haven't seen it much, but there is a little bit of a pushback on ROVs from the diving community, similar to the way aviation was with drones at first. Well, I'm a diver. I don't need an ROV, I don't know what their attitude is, but I have run into that. We've been out in some locations where we were diving and the guys were like, you need to get those out of the water. We're diving here. Really? far as I can tell, you don't own the water, so
Yeah. I guess the only thing I could see is the cord, tethers getting in the way or something like that. But if you're 20 yards apart, who cares?
yeah. Well, you're not much of a diver if you. I mean, there's so much fishing line down there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
It's like really
Exactly.
you,
And
you
other
can't see this
things.
big neon tether. That's going to be an issue for you. You know.
There's a lot of things underwater for them to get caught on.
It's an amazing world. I backed into this whole ROV thing. I didn't go into it. I'm going to do ROV kind of thing. But yeah, it is very interesting, and there's a lot of stuff down there that we just don't know about. I know there's a lot of people slamming the guys that were diving on that Titanic with a Titan, and I would not have gotten in that sub knowing that it was a carbon fiber. I would not
Yeah,
have gotten in
that's
there,
the whole thing. I read an article
but I applaud them for pushing the limits.
sure. There's a group, an industry group that sent them a letter in 2018 about that sub did not meet DNV-PL or some specification like that for deep sea. That it didn't meet that specification.
Right,
So
right.
that he was told in 2018 that his sub was dangerous. So I can understand the whole, okay, we're going to do it different with carbon fiber, but normally when you do things like that, you don't put humans involved until you've done a lot of non-human tests. I mean, come on, does
I don't think we still know what the point of failure was, but the problem with carbon fiber is delamination, and that happens over time.
Mhm.
So it could be good for the first 10 dives. You could even, go down there and say, hey, this really works. But at what point does it fail? And it is going to fail. It is going to delaminate. And I don't care if you did lace it with titanium, it was carbon fiber laced with titanium. It's still two separate materials, and eventually it is going to delaminate.
It's a woven.
Water is going to get in there.
Yeah, it's a woven material. It's gonna come apart at some point.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you were going to do something like that, I think, I understand the weight thing. It saves on weight and all that. So the thing to do would be to test it to the point of failure, and then say, okay, we can only get 10 dives out of this, or 50 dives, or whatever it is.
Right.
That's what they should have done. But this guy was in a money raising mode, and he was trying to. And I haven't looked into the whole story, so I really shouldn't comment on it. But my understanding was the whole idea of taking people down was to raise money for other little adventures.
Yep. As with everything, money makes
on a personal note,
money makes you do dumb things.
On a personal note, the idea of bolting yourself in just blows my mind. I'm there.
You wouldn't go bolt yourself into your ROV so you couldn't get out?
No, it's not bolting yourself in. It's somebody else bolting
you in. Yeah. Exactly.
You can't, at no point in time, even if you surfaced, you can't escape this thing.
Or in other words, you've got to trust that they've done it tight enough.
Oh yeah, true. You got to trust that the person that put you in there made it, made sure everything was sealed correctly. So that's my dog in the background.
Let's just say there
My
was
daughter
nothing
came
about
over.
there was nothing about that vehicle that was kind of normal.
No.
Well, didn't they figure that thing imploded just at 3,500 feet? It wasn't even down.
Yeah, it wasn't even down there.
It went down all the way because it was only down. It was 1 hour, 49 minutes, and it normally takes about 2.5 hours. So they were at least 45 minutes or so roughly short of being on the bottom.
Let's just say they got closer to the Titanic than he intended.
No, not really, because they found the wreckage 1,500 meters off the bow, off the nose.
Yeah, but they haven't found the bodies yet, have they?
Oh,
No, nor will they probably ever.
you won't find them.
They said that I was reading
The newfound, the thing I was saying was
this morning that ship that had that ROV on it is pulled back into Newfoundland this morning, but US Coast Guard is still there with ROVs and stuff this morning, still at the site.
There's going to be nothing to find. Those people got atomized as soon as that thing imploded.
Yeah.
So Newfound, I wasn't saying escape underwater. I was saying if they had, because what one of the escape routes was to drop weights and then they would float to the surface if they had a problem.
Escape
But they-
plan, it wasn't a route. Yeah.
Right. But they still couldn't get out of the unit. That was what I was referring to. I wasn't talking about getting out of water, opening the hatch underwater.
Yeah. They could get to the surface, but they couldn't get out of the vehicle.
Yeah,
Well,
not,
like,
it's
I-
not like Star Trek where you got escape pods.
Yeah.
You know,
Or you had a NASCAR guy there taking the tires off. Going there. Oh, it wasn't the space shuttle. Was it? Or no, it was a capsule. When the door originally could only open in. But they changed it now, the door opens out.
I don't know. That whole sub was about as crazy as the people that try to ride barrels over Niagara Falls.
So technically, then, if they'd have actually pulled it up in the very last dying minutes of the oxygen, they could still have died while they tried to
Yes.
bloody open that thing.
Yes.
Yeah, true. Although I can only speculate at this point, but having worked with rescue divers, or recovery divers, I should say, not rescue, they like to do one of the things that they do that I found interesting was when they pull a body up from the bottom, they don't surface with the body. They put it in a body bag at about 60 feet. So there's two teams of divers. There's the recovery divers that go down and get the body. They bring it up to 60 feet. And then another team will come down and they will put it in a body bag and then they will surface with it for two reasons. One, respect for the person and the family. And two, if they've been down there for a while, you grab an arm, it's going to just fall off.
Yeah, but it doesn't explode. The body explode.
no, what it is I pulled bodies out of the water that have been in the water a while. And I grabbed one guy by the arm to pull him over to the boat. And it's like pulling chicken. It went, and the arm came right off of my hand.
Anybody want the gizzard?
Might want to retype that, Newfound. But you got to remember, you only telling us what we want to hear. I doubt we were getting the whole story. Yeah, we're probably not getting the whole story. Probably never will.
No.
Although there's enough people covering it right now that we may. You never know. The thing that kind of throws me, and I kind of get into conspiracy things when I think about it, was after we had that massive. I don't know what's happening with this PC. After that massive countdown of hours that we, of oxygen left, then the Navy comes back and says, "Oh well, we heard the implosion."
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you say that in the first place?
They told the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
What they said in the article is the Coast Guard commander knew, but procedurally, right? Even though that guy had that info, he couldn't come out and tell the world until they actually found the vehicle.
Yeah.
To then go, okay, it's one thing to hear it, right? That explosion could have been a fucking Russian sub blown up instead of that thing blown up. You have no idea. So until they put vehicles down and actually found the vehicle to go, okay, yeah, it was that. They can't exactly come out and go, oh yeah, we knew. He kind of knew. I mean, he was probably 90%,
I still think it's information you could've-
90%.
I still think you could have put the information out there saying, well, the Navy, we have a report from the Navy that there was a sound of an implosion. There is that.
Yeah. No.
There is,
got
but
it.
you've got to think of respect for the family. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
They said we've heard the implosion. We suspect it's that the family all start grieving and stuff, and then suddenly they get hope that, you saw how the media reacted. Oh, then maybe this and then maybe that can happen, and suddenly everyone was feeling happy again, and then suddenly it was like bang, it's over.
Do you really think it would have been any different for the family had they known that there was so first of all, they would have hypothetically, they would have continued searching for it, even if they did. They continued searching. I just think it's some information they should have put out.
You know what surprises me though? Curtis, why the hell didn't the mothership have sonar or have, yeah. Or Sonic, whatever on that to monitor the thing? You would have thought that the mothership would have heard the damn thing if they had the right tools on board.
Yeah. Does seem strange, doesn't it?
It does. For a company that's supposed to be, safety. It's like, why the hell didn't the mothership know? Why didn't they have their own
There you go, guys.
Yeah.
Sonic sonar thing?
Well, the search area too was kind of threw me. It's like, okay, you knew where it was going in the water. You knew where the Titanic is. Why are we looking at something the size of the state of
Yeah,
Connecticut?
300 miles and yeah.
I
Well,
know.
Yeah.
what? Yeah. What are you talking about? You start from even divers, the guys that I work with, in zero visibility, they put a center point at the bottom. Say they're at 30 feet down. They put a stick literally in the ground and they feed out line to a row of 10 divers, and they orbit in a circle, but they start where they think it is and orbit out. And then if they don't find it, they make the string longer and continue to orbit around. That's the way we did the ROVs. So we have I wish I could draw a graph here. We have the pier, which is a straight line. We're on the pier and we let out 5 feet of tether and we just kind of do a half moon orbit. And then we let out 5 more feet and we do another half moon, and we just keep letting out tether until we've run out of tether. So you start from a center point. You don't start and go. And again, I'm speculating here. I don't know the answers, but when they're saying we're searching the area the size of the state of Connecticut, it's like, really? Why don't you just start where the Titanic is and work your way out from there? Again, disclaimer, I'm not there. I don't know what they were doing. It just all sound kind of strange to me.
Yeah, and the other part of that is they knew how long they've been down. So 30, they were only about 40 minutes from the bottom. So they were already pretty deep. So how far would the current have pushed them, right? If they completely lost control, where would the current, which I'm sure is probably what they were thinking of, but it's like,
But you still start from the center and work your way out.
yeah, I would concur. On top of that, you already know that there's not much on the ocean floor around the Titanic, right? All the pictures I've ever seen, that ocean floor looks pretty barren. In that area.
Yeah, a good sonar system, I think, would have taken care of a lot of that.
Again,
Yeah,
why
there's
didn't the
there's some
mothership have sonar?
there's some downward facing sonar systems that fish, the guys that fish that can make out trees and structure and make it look almost photorealistic with some of the side scan sonar stuff. I've seen some of it and it's like, wow, it's like you're looking at a photo from underwater. I mean, it clearly shows you what's down there. Even if they dropped it on an ROV that was, 200 feet above the surface of the bottom, they would have got a really good clear picture if they'd had the right equipment on that boat.
Yeah, that one company has 3D mapped that entire area around the Titanic. So
Hey, Paul,
Yo,
are you going to be on a while? I'm going to go catch a ship.
I gotta
actually,
jump
I'm
off
thinking
too.
about going off, Paul.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I think I'm just going to close it down then.
yeah.
yeah, I need
Okay.
to run too.
Everybody, thanks for being here. We'll see all of you again later today, right, Paul?
Yep, I'll be around tonight.
You
Yeah.
gonna go water ski when you catch it?
I'm going down to the trailer. I'm gonna go down and cut grass. So
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Yeah, I gotta cut grass this afternoon myself. We'll see everybody.
And I'll
Bye
see
for
you
now.
all.
yep, bye guys.